What's up, podcast listeners? We're back with another episode of the Festival Tales podcast.
Woo!
I'm your host, one host, Babs. Your other co-host is,
Ade. Hello.
you know us by now, I think. But just for those of you that are new listening, we might as well add that in. Before we get started with today's interesting story, please like and subscribe to the podcast. And if you can, write us a review. We greatly appreciate that. The reviews help us know what you guys like and don't like. Plus, it tells other people what's great about the podcast and what isn't great. So if you enjoy the podcast, write us a cool review. Anything else you want to add in, Ade, before we get going?
No, just thanks for tuning in, you guys. Our little small but mighty festival fam is growing, so we appreciate your guys' support, and we're excited to just keep on providing those stories for you guys.
Yes, and that's the last thing we should say is keep writing in their stories.
Yeah.
We'll keep reading them. We're going to have more guests for you guys in the up and coming weeks as well. So if you do have any recommendations on guests you'd like to hear from or different people in the industry you'd want to hear from, please DM us those and we can try to get those people on. So, all right, without further ado, let's get going with this week's episode.
Sweet. We got a story in. This one actually came in like last week, so we appreciate you guys when you submit your stories. We definitely take the time to read them. This one is going to take us back to a New Year's Eve event going into 2020. Could have been a preamble, honestly, to how 2020 turned out for how much of a shit show the story is. So the story does take place at, which I'm going to say trigger warning, Base Nectar 360. This story has nothing to do with him. This girl says she no longer supports him in any way. If you guys are confused a little bit about that, you can DM us and we can talk a little bit more about that. But just wanted to put that disclaimer just so you guys can get an idea. It is at 360 because the venue kind of plays into the story. So it was New Year's Eve 2020 and my Ray fam got the dopest 16-person Airbnb in Louisville, Kentucky for our New Year's Eve event. Base Nectar 360. We got there pretty early so we could do our Ray Fam Secret Santa exchange.
Oh, that's cool.
Get ready together and make sure we got a good spot in line so we could get spots on the floor. That's so cute. A little Ray Fam Secret Santa exchange. Since a lot of us live in different cities, we don't see each other too much. So I was just vibing with everyone and having so much fun catching up while getting ready and pre-gaming that I didn't get to finish drinking before we had to get in the Uber. Oh boy. So naturally, I brought a couple of White Claws with me to have in line. Yep. We got in line knowing it would be at least 2 hours in the freezing cold. Oh my God. Not ideal for us girls in rave attire. So I was drinking my extra drinks pretty fast because obviously the alcohol blanket would help me warm up a little, right? After about an hour, it hit me. I just drank 5 White Claws and hadn't gone to the bathroom yet. Oh my gosh. I tried my best to not think about it, thinking I'd be fine until we got into the venue. No. Telling myself I'd be able to jump out of line to use the bathroom when we got inside, or so I thought. We finally reached the point in line where we were inside the building, and at this point, several of us in my Ray fam also had to pee. Some of us attempted to get out of line to go to the bathroom, but of course, the security guards wouldn't let us. As time went on, it was evident that dozens of people in line around us had to pee too. Oh my God. Dudes started peeing in water bottles. One of my friends even peed in a hydration pack.
Scringe.
Ew.
Scringe
it
face.
was literally madness. Oh my gosh. Finally, a few of us had enough. We had never had to pee so bad in our lives. It was so bad that we got out of our spot in line and braved the sea of thousands of wooks standing in line so we could go outside to find somewhere to pee. Oh my! We had been pretty far towards the front of the line, so it took seemingly forever to get through the crowd until we were outside and finally found some bushes all the way towards the back of the line to pee behind.
Oh my gosh. You go all the way to the back.
The next part is kind of unethical on our part, but at the time it felt absolutely necessary. We realized that we had to get back to our group, or in parentheses, or at least as close as we could, or we'd never find them if we got past security too long before we did, knowing only so many people were going to be allowed on the floor. Plus, it was New Year's, and one of the friends I was with and I both had our boyfriends in line with the rest of the Ray fam, so we kind of had to get back to them.
Gotta get that New Year's kiss.
Gotta get that New Year's kiss.
Otherwise someone's in trouble. And
Yeah.
it's definitely the guy's fault that they weren't with you. So
Yep.
yeah.
So, yep, we braved the sea of thousands of wooks again to try to get back to our group. We ended up getting pretty close to where we originally were, but couldn't get to where our friends were. Luckily, we could see them from our new spot in line, and our phones were still working well enough that once we passed security, we were able to make it onto the floor and find our group. All was well in the world with the Ray fam until security stopped letting people on the floor, and we realized there was no way for them to identify who was on the floor before the cutoff. That meant if any of us were to get drinks or go use the bathroom while we were there, we wouldn't be able to get back on the floor even though we were right by the stairs that led to the bathrooms. But of course, some people in our group were off getting drinks or in the bathroom when we found that out. So the only thing for them to do to get back to us at first was to climb over the railings while security was looking away.
Ooh.
Thankfully, one of our friends ended up finding an entry from the floor that led to the bathrooms, but it was all the way on the opposite side of the arena from where we were. So throughout the night, every single time any of us had to pee, because once you break the seal,
Yeah, it just keeps occurring. Like,
we had to push through the sea of wooks 2 more times to get back to our group, which was honestly pretty comical when it was time for substances to be involved, because this particular event was set up where the stage was in the middle of the floor and it also rotated, which made it extremely easy to lose your place in the crowd since you're essentially walking in a giant circle where everything looks the same the entire time. Oh my God.
I love that. That's great.
That's so disorienting. All in all, even though we had so many issues keeping our 16-person group together, the rest of the night was truly magical, and I'm so glad we were able to make it work. Moral of the story for when shows come back: pee before you go to the venue and make a plan to keep your group together at indoor venues.
Yeah, pee before the venue, pee before the set. Like, just do it before people.
Yeah. Pee before the Uber.
Although, the people that go before need some people to not go before and go during the middle. That way it's not crowded. So, someone has to bite the bullet there. I'm just kidding. That's bad. But it's true. Kind of.
Yeah.
I want to see this dope ass Airbnb apparently that you guys got. Apparently it was the best Airbnb in Kentucky.
Louisville.
Which, how crazy is Kentucky? But no, I'm messing around. I'm sure Louisville's a big city. It's pretty decent size, so I'm sure they have some crazy stuff. Just gotta rag on everybody a little bit here. I've never been to Base Center 360. Obviously, I don't think I ever will at this point, but I'm sure the event was really really cool. Videos I've seen from it look amazing.
Yeah, the videos always look insane.
But the story of you guys getting in is it's very funny. I mean, as a guy, I can't really relate too much to that. I could just do what most of your guy friends and your boyfriends did, is just like open up a bottle or hydration pack if I so choose, if I'm really desperate. I hope they threw that hydration pack out. I hope that hydration pack is just never sees the light of day again. If you write back in to tell us it's being used still, we're gonna cancel the show. We're gonna cancel it. This will be the last story we ever do.
Yeah, I've seen some of my guy friends do the same, where they do the water bottle trick and then they'll either throw the water bottle away or they'll just put it back down on the ground. And I'm like, what are you doing? Go throw that away. And they're like, I don't want to leave. And I'm like, this is disgusting.
Then carry it.
Yeah. Ugh. I was
Keep
like,
your
I'm not
warm
touching
piss
that.
bottle in your hand.
Yeah.
I can't.
And I know Emma Capote, she didn't tell this story with us, but she saw someone peeing at EDC, just like at one of the stages. It was at Chris Lake Cosmic Meadows.
Not in a not in a bottle,
guy.
just straight up peeing on the ground.
Straight up peeing in the crowd. Kind of it was on the rail, I think it was.
I've heard of people doing that on the rail. Still. Why are people so disgusting? Why?
Yeah.
Why must you be so nasty? Just.
Yeah, when I go. Like, I'm not holding on to that because I literally feel like my life is about to end. If I'm holding on to that, I'm like, no. That even happened to me yesterday. Like, my boyfriend and I were coming back from a friend's birthday, and I had to pee so bad. And I was just like, he was trying to talk to me. And I was like, I literally cannot hear a word you're saying because I just like can only focus on how I need to pee really bad right now. So like reading this story, I was like, I can only imagine like just feeling that pain.
kind of off topic, but like what's the worst is like when you like if you drink like a big like bottle of water or something before you go to bed and you're like laying in bed and you wake up at like God knows what hour of the early morning and you like know you have to pee but you're like no, I can hold it. And then you like try to fall back asleep, but your body's like, motherfucker, you are staying up until you go.
Up.
And I always fall for it. I'm like, I can go back to sleep. I go back to sleep. And I like try and like 10 more minutes go by and I'm like, God damn it. And I get up and I'm like, fucking size. Yeah, it's the worst. Yeah, I mean, it's it's a funny story. I'm not gonna lie. Like I feel bad for you that you had to go through all that, but like it's a funny story.
It's a funny story.
The sea of books makes me laugh. Like I can just imagine like everyone's like wide-eyed, like smelly beards everywhere, just they're just like because like I don't know.
I think I would get so like even if I wasn't drunk or like on any substances, just what she talked about how it's set up to where the stage is moving and then like you're in a circle, like I would get so disoriented if I was on the floor.
Yeah.
Like I would almost want to be in the bleachers just so I wouldn't get that feeling because I think there's also seating too in the bleachers and stuff. And like I would want to do that because I feel like I would just get dizzy.
I would be. I'm sure I'd get lost. Depending on the level I am, I'd be like, I have no idea where we are.
Yeah. Well, that's what people would need is Babs as like a human totem because if you are in an indoor venue and you don't get to bring totems, you kind of have to get a little creative. So you need like a person that's really tall maybe. Or like we used to do inflatables, so like little mini inflatable things, but it depends on the venue. We'd use like that as
those
like
little
a totem.
green aliens, like everyone has those little green aliens. So you'll be like, you'd be like going to like all these different groups. Like, where are they? Like, where is our group? This is
get like a super unique one.
This is the 5th alien we've seen. Like,
I'll never forget at Coachella we didn't have a totem because they don't allow totems, and somehow someone in our group found this inflatable dolphin. Like it was like pretty like about this big. It was like maybe like 6 inches, 10 inches long. I don't know, maybe a foot. It was probably a foot long for the people listening. One of our friends just came across it somehow, and then that became our totem the rest of the weekend. And it actually worked out pretty well because you would just see it in the crowd because no one else had totems. But that was at Coachella. I don't think I've ever experienced that at an indoor venue like that.
2 questions. 1, did you guys make dolphin noises? And 2, did you enjoy it with totems or not? Like without totems or not?
Did I enjoy what?
Like the festival without having the totems and stuff there.
I think I like having the totems.
I do too. I think that's like part of the experience. Like to me, because I like seeing all the different funny ones, all the different creative ones. So like I remember, like that's some of the things we do is like if we're just sitting there like vibing the music, we're not like super into it or whatnot. We'll be like looking at the totems. We'll be like, oh look at that one, oh look at that one.
Yeah.
And like to me, I love that. And I take I'm someone who like takes pictures or like I zoom in on like funny ones and stuff like that. Like I'm all about it. So yeah, they're like crucial parts to me. Like, and I love like the festival videos you get online and some like the European ones and stuff where it's like full of flags and stuff and like all different countries are like waving their flag to the music and I'm like, this is so cool. Like I want to just be in the back, like in the middle, just looking up at everything. Yeah, I want that. Yeah.
I know. I see that with like Tomorrowland. And I'm like, oh, that'd be so cool seeing all the flags.
I know.
Yeah, I love totems. Like some people hate them. There is an etiquette to it though, right? Like
agreed.
Don't be that totem that is dead center up at the rail blocking the view of the DJ or the artist that's playing. Like, and if you're going to do that, turn your totem to the side, lower it down so you're not obstructing other people's views.
Yeah. You should have one where you can like if you're in the front, I feel like you should have one that's not ridiculously tall. Like if you know your plan is to go to the front, you have one that you can kind of like put down next to you or something so it's not in the way, and then when you need it you put it back up real quick and like that's my view of it at least. But
the way I build mine is they're 2 4-foot pieces that we connect together with like a PVC connector. So if we're like back when we liked being at the front, we would disconnect it and then just have them stand on their own. And it was like 4 feet. So like someone would just have to hold it. It was like kind of in the crowd, but at least it wasn't obstructing people's view. Or we would have it stand and then just turn it to the side So, and it was poster board. So like it just looked like a sliver of like cardboard compared to like a whole
Yeah.
big sign. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that's why a lot of people don't like them. It's just because there's people just don't follow the etiquette with it. But now like our group, we like being in the back, but we still do a totem because it's just easier to find people. And
I definitely don't like it when like a flag is like hitting me in the face. Like
Oh,
I've had that
yeah.
where I'm standing there and then like it's coming from behind, like it's someone behind me like waving it, but it's just so low. And I mean, I'm a little bit taller than most people, but like still, like come on, guy, like don't hit me. Like I'm just not like I've had even my shorter friends get hit, and I'm like the pole would have hit me in the head, not the flag. Like it's so I don't know. Yeah, that's something I don't like is when the flag is like literally like hitting my face, and I'm like, okay, I get it. You're behind me waving this cool flag. It's great.
Yeah.
What else did they say on this? The drinking claws. That's all I have. It's like one of the few things I remember. I mean, claws are a great pregame drink. I'm not like endorsing White Claw now. Okay, I don't know where I was going with that. I had something I was going to say regarding that. Negate that. Sorry. Whoops. Forgot what else I was going to say with that.
It's okay. It's Monday.
It is Monday. That's interesting how security wouldn't let you guys in and out once you were down there. So I don't, again, I've never been, so I guess is that how it works? Like it's first come, first serve. You just buy a ticket to the event and you can go and sit wherever basically.
Yeah, so
And,
like
you
that's
get up, your
why they
seat's gone.
probably got there early. So they got in line knowing it would be 2 hours because I think they wanted to like get on the floor. Because I know other people like Ashley got there and her group, they like were sitting in the bleachers. But that was because like the time that they got there put them there basically. So it's kind of like every man for themselves. So it makes sense.
That's crazy. I can't believe y'all waited 2 hours in the freezing cold though. That's bless your souls in your little girl rave attire.
Yeah,
I would be
could not be me.
Yeah, I'd be wearing a jacket. I'd bring a bag with me that I could put my jacket in and stuff, and I'll change when I'm inside or something.
Yeah,
I'll figure it out. That was what I was gonna say. Is the blanket of coldness? That's what I was gonna get at, or the alcohol blanket. Alcohol blanket. Yeah. Blanket of cold.
Blanket of coldness. Quite the opposite.
The alcohol blanket. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm gonna say. Is like I feel like White Claws aren't the best alcohol blanket. Like I'm thinking you got to go with something that's gonna warm you up, like a
tequila.
Oh, okay, yeah, we could do that. Shot of tequila,
that's fine.
Shot of whiskey. Like you gotta start pumping those heavy liquors.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had a White Claw.
I don't think seltzers would really do that for me.
No, especially because they taste better cold. So it's like you gotta drink. Like you can just grab a bottle of whiskey or tequila off the counter and just take a shot. Like you're good to go.
Yeah.
Rearing to go. Yeah. So your go-to is tequila.
Yeah.
So like you go out, you're having one shot of tequila, or are you having like 5?
When it's cold, I'm not out when it's cold.
I just been on a regular evening. You're not out when it's cold. You just hibernate. Okay.
Yeah, like I have not been out. I hate the cold.
Ade's trying to move down to like Costa Rica in the near future.
No, I will go back to. I'll honestly go back to Arizona because they get like one actual cold day out of the year compared to Austin. It's so cold here. Yeah. So like. When I was going out in college, I was honestly drinking whatever when it was cold, but
college is when you can like mix everything and you're fine. And then and then like nowadays I mix everything and I wake up with a pounding headache and I'm like, why did I do?
Yeah, I probably honestly could only do like 2 or 3 shots of tequila, not back to back.
I think that's all you need is about
and that's all I need.
We went to like we had like a training retreat, a bunch of us for my job, and I did not like tequila up until I would not do tequila. I had these group of friends that would just surprise me with a tequila shot at like right before the bar closed at like 1:50. So I was already, feeling pretty good. Like we're about to go home. Okay, the night's about to be done. I'm about to eat some food and go to bed. And they would hand me a shot, and I would, for like the longest time, I'd be like, "What is it?" And they're like, "We're all taking it." I'd be like, "Okay," and then it was tequila, and then I would want to throw up because it's at 1:50 a.m. and I'm already feeling plenty good, and I don't need tequila at all, with no lime or anything. Like there was nothing. It was just like, "Oh, here's the shot by itself. Go crazy." So I had this in my head. I was like, I hate tequila. I hate it. I went on this work retreat, And that's like kind of all my workers were doing, but we were doing it at the beginning of the time. They're like, why don't you do a shot with us? And I was like, all right, fine. And I did it. And I was like, that wasn't bad at all. And I remember doing like 3 or 4, and then we went out, and I was like, yeah, I like tequila now. Like I like tequila at the beginning of the night. Like I can do this, and it makes me like super energized and like pumped up to go. It's so much. I don't know. It's such a difference in like how I started out having and how I now. So that's my recommendation to people: start the night off with tequila. Don't end it.
Yeah, I also feel like I don't get as bad of hangovers compared to like how if I did vodka shots or like vodka drinks. So like I've switched pretty much to just drinking tequila, like mixed drinks or shots of tequila, and I feel pretty okay the next day.
I'm not there yet, but we'll get there one day.
You'll get there.
Maybe.
Maybe. Well, those are our drink recommendations for the week of how to stay warm while drinking, everyone.
Yeah, for sure. Anything else, Ade?
No, I don't think so.
This is a funny story.
This was a good one. This is definitely
this
a funny one.
Yeah, this was an I wasn't expecting to read something like this today.
Yeah.
Here we are.
We haven't gotten any like how to like bladder or peeing stories yet, so this was a good one.
It was indeed. All right, everybody. Well, we're going to close out this podcast episode. We hope you enjoyed it. If you can please keep submitting your festival stories. We love to read them. We do read all of them. We will get to all of them eventually. So, but in the meantime, keep showing the podcast to your friends, getting them to write in. We know you all have a rave fam out there, so get them to write in. And if you can, again, please like and subscribe to the podcast. We greatly appreciate that. And that's all we have for you this week.